everybody, Jermaine Griggs here. I'm actually driving to the office, but I've got to tell you guys, since I released that video, that announcement last week, things have been crazy. So many people have kind of come out the woodwork that I haven't heard from in a long time, telling us how excited they are about this project, even though some people don't know what it is really fully yet. But I mean, we've gotten dozens upon dozens of comments, and for every comment that we've gotten, it's been about 4 or 5 emails from people that didn't comment. They just replied directly. So needless to say, things have been bananas, and we're still working on it. One part of the project I can tell you is more straightforward, but the other part of the project is a little more intricate, and I promise you'll find out what that is soon. But in all of this chaos and all of this, busyness, if you will, elections tomorrow, just a lot going on right now. Your comments have warmed my heart. Just reading from all the people that have been helped by Hear and Play, it just made me kind of want to stop from all this chaos and just do a video for you guys. So I'm actually headed over to the office, and I'm gonna show you how to play a song, but I'm gonna show you how to play it systematically. It's actually this song I'm listening to right here by Thicke. I love the progressions. And the best thing about it, it's easy to play. So I'm gonna show you how to play a top charting hit. This guy is awesome. You're gonna learn how to play it. So we're gonna head over to the office. When I see you, I'll be at the keyboard. All right, you guys take care. All right, welcome to the office. Like I promised, we are gonna learn the full song, and we're gonna do it in under, I'm looking 15 minutes, okay? You guys know I like to talk a lot, but I'm gonna purposefully try to get this in 15 minutes, and I'm gonna try to talk to my newbies, because I want you to be able to play this song by the end of this video, and you should be. This song is only 4 chords. I know it sounds nice and everything, but it's really not that complicated, and that's why I chose this song. It's kind of universal. It really explains the musical process. I mean, there's a bunch of circular progressions, as I'm going to show. It's just a 2-5-1 repeated over and and over again to the 4 chord. All that number stuff, it will make sense in less than 15 minutes. And then even my experienced person, even if you know this, you'll see my musical process. You'll see how I go about learning songs. So hopefully on both ends, I can be of help to you through this lesson. Like I said, just unplanned. I mean, I have some slides here on my computer, but I just wanted to do this, just kind of to chill out and really help you guys out for this one, okay? You guys have really encouraged me on the blog, and I want to give back here. So the song is Lost Without You. I'm going to teach you chords, okay? It's not that I'm teaching you a song. Really, I'm teaching you chords. And if you know anything about music, chords are recycled. They're played over and over. These composers, yeah, they're brilliant, but they don't reinvent the wheel either, okay? So realize that, number one. So when you listen to this, I'm gonna pull it up on my Mac, but when you listen to this, try to find the 4 chords that I'm gonna teach you. Try to find them, listen for them. They stick out and they start all over, okay? So first realize that this song isn't complicated. Here we go. I like the way it sounds. Okay, starting all over. There's the first chord of the progression. There's the next chord of the progression. There's the 3rd chord of the progression. There's the 4th chord. Lost without you, can't help myself. How does it feel? Okay, and then he goes into the melody. So that's the song right there. And I can tell you, first of all, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna show you it. I'm just gonna show you. I'm not gonna do a lot of talking. I'm gonna show you, and then we're gonna back up and kind of look at my process. So let's go to the piano. Okay, on your right hand, we can play this song with as many fingers as we want, but I'm gonna start off with just 2 fingers, because that's all it takes. Here's the pattern that he's doing. And you gotta realize, and I'm gonna talk about this, we're in the key of C. Okay, we're in the key of C on this song. If you hammer C down as you're listening to the song, you'll find out that it has this tone, it has this feel. You can press it over any chord in the progression and it sounds right. It sounds like home bass. We call that the tonic, okay? It's that overarching note you can hum. You can hum it over the whole song and it would still sound in place. If you can predict what the chord would be at the very end of the song, when the audience is clapping, that home bass feel, like you're back at home, you're resolved, you're happy. That's the key of the song. That's what you're listening for. So this song is in the key of C. Okay, and here are the chords. I'm gonna explain them later. Okay, so we start off with C and F, okay? But D is on our bass, okay? This is what we call a D minor 7 chord. Okay, now D minor 7 chord is usually like that, and I'm just kind of playing it so you can see it. D, F, A, and C. We're not playing A, okay? And then instead of playing the F down here, we're playing it up here, okay? So normally we have an A. Let's not play it right now. Let's put D in our bass or play it down here. So now, notice about this song, it has some nice resolutions in it, you know, just kind of one note resolutions dropping down. And that's what makes it sound so good. So when you hear that, just figure out from what you're already playing, what's dropping down. Is it this? Does that sound right? No. Let's try the other one. I think we got ourselves a winner. Okay, so what you do is you move your bass from D to G. Now when you drop that C down to B, you're also playing a very familiar chord in music. It's called the G7 chord, the G dominant 7 chord. And normally it looks like this. But again, we're not playing the D, just like we omitted a tone from the previous chord. And our bass is on G, so we can play that down here, okay? And then we just have B and F. So we go. And then the song, it keeps giving us these clues that something else is resolving. So let's figure out what it is. Does this sound right? No. How about this? Bingo. So when one didn't work, it was trial and error. I don't profess to have a super duper ear or to be musically, you know, brilliant or have perfect pitch or anything like that. A lot of playing by ear and coming up with nice chords and stuff can be trial and error. So that's the next chord. So our bass went from D, G, now we're on C, and we're gonna play B and E together. Okay, so. And like I said, there's only 4 chords in this song. So from there, we're gonna just go to the F bass. It's very easy, F, okay? So, and all we're gonna do is we're gonna resolve again. Does this sound right? No, how about this? So your ear starts hearing a pattern anyway. It starts listening, it's almost predictable. If you didn't play music, you would almost want to hear that. Okay, so if a non-musician can hear the resolution and know what's supposed to happen, then of course we should know what's going on. So again, D minor 7, C and F on the right hand. Lower that C to B, go to G. That's a G7. Now we're at a C major 7. So all 7 chords, all 7 chords. Okay, so you got C on the bass, you got B and E. Again, a C major 7 would be like this. We're not playing the G. And this E right here, we're moving it up here, okay? And then we're gonna go to our F by resolving this B down to A, and then going to F on our bass. So all the chords, so let me play it down here on the bass. A lot of songs use that. That's what we call a 2-5-1. And then from the 1, we go to the 4. Where do the numbers come from? They come from the scale. If you look at the C major scale, you'll see C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Know them as numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we go back to the 1. So the second tone of the key of C is D. The 5th tone is G, and obviously the first tone is 1. From there, we go to the 4. So this is a 2-5-1 to the 4, okay? 2-5-1-4. Remember that, 2-5-1-4, okay? In rhythm. Okay, now let's actually see how that sounds with the song. Let's actually, you know, see if we're on, if we're on key here, if we're doing a good job. So. You hear that? We'll learn that. So let me stop it. So you see what we did there? We just learned it. It's 4 chords. Now, I don't want any excuses. I want you to be on the blog telling me how that sounds on your piano. If you're newbie, you've only been playing for 2 days, I want to hear that. Or at least I want you to describe, how it felt to just play a song, a decent song, a nice jazzy sounding, smooth song with 4 chords. We're only playing, you can call these dyads if you want. They're not even chords, they're just intervals, right? They're dyads. And we're just moving tones. I taught my wife this, and I said, just take C, F, and just play a game. It's like a game. First move the one on the left, then move the one on the right, and then move the one on the left. Okay, so it's a game. And then your bass does the same thing. Up, or it goes up, down, up. It's a game. I've even heard progressions. So you can do things with it. It's all circular. So now that you got the basic idea of it, and that was my goal in the first 10 minutes, now let's actually go back and think of it as a process. Oh, since I'm just kind of doing this off the cuff, that in-between thing that he did, it was in between the chords. Okay, all it really did was walk up from G, A flat, A. Okay, because A has a strong pull to D, where we're starting over again. Okay, so whenever you want to start all over from D, you want to be at A. A pulls to D. In other words, A is the 5th tone if you were in the key of D. Just like that G took us to C, you know how we went D, G, and it gave us a strong pull. We want to resolve to C. Well, A has that same function to D. Okay, you get that same feel when you're on A. So he just goes there really quickly. Now he doesn't do it with single notes. He does it with what we call fifths. So he hits down G and D, and he just takes that up. Each one goes up 1 note, half step. So A flat and E flat, oops, and A and E. I hit the wrong one. So G, D, A flat, E, and A, E. A flat, E flat. Want to be specific there. And then A, E. Okay, so let's put that in. And actually, I want to actually play some drums here. Then he goes, lost without you. And I'm working on it. I'm hearing play vocals. I'm working on it. But so that's the idea. It sounds like it sounds there. It's cool. Now we're going to add some stuff to it, in a couple of minutes. But that's the basic workup. It's the 2nd tone of the scale going to the 5th tone of the scale, coming back home to the 1st tone of the scale, and then going to the 4th tone. So, well, Jermaine, that's fine. It seems like it makes sense because you just showed it to me. But when I'm doing it on my own, it doesn't seem that simple. This song is simple now that I see it over your shoulder, but it's not like that for me. When I close the door and it's just me, myself, and I, it's not like that. So let's go to my computer and I'm gonna show you this chart. This is why you might feel that way. This is a chart I created, and it's basically the whole song learning process as, I thought of everything I could in the song learning process, and I turned it into this chart. It's intimidating. It's supposed to be. Music is not an easy thing. It's something you get over time, and even when you think you arrive, you haven't. But this is why, beginners kind of get started and they don't even know all these things exist, first of all. So first of all, you don't know what you don't know, let alone you don't know what you do know and do know what you don't know, all that kind of stuff. But you don't even know, all these things exist. And I understand, I feel the frustration, but what I do and why you've come to Hear and Play is because we try to make all this stuff simple. We try to give you shortcuts so that all this stuff isn't intimidating. We start with the yellow zone. This is the core right here, and there's 7 key things, from your theory to knowing how to pick out the key, what we call rapid tonic identification, to melody, to figuring out the basic pattern, using the right chords, using, your own style and personalization, and then being able to take it to whatever key. We call that mobility and freedom. These are my own original names, okay? You won't find this taught the same exact way. But that's kind of what I've turned this whole song learning process into a system. But don't let this scare you, because it can be scary when you're doing it on your own. But, that's why you're here. So the first thing, if I had to start all over, you already know the pattern, right? You already know that. You got that. You should be able to play that. No excuses. I got this little button at Staples. It says, that was easy. I don't want any excuses with that. But let's go here. And the first thing I would do, if I had more time, it was just me, myself, and I. The first step, and here's all 7 of the things I think you need to, become a master at eventually, But the first thing is rapid tonic identification. This is where you find the key. This is what we did in the beginning. The tonic, that's a fancy name for what key you're in, okay? Don't let it fool you. That's just the key you're in. And you only can be in one key in one time. So when you listen to a song, whether it's on YouTube, you have to figure that you have a 1 in 12 chance of just picking the right key just by picking, just by randomly hitting a note. And those odds aren't that bad. It's not like the lotto. I know some people play the lotto every night. It's like you got 1 in 12 possibilities. If it's not one, it has to be the other. Zero-sum game, right? Okay, so when you're listening to it, you're listening, like I said, for this overall note. You're listening for a chord that you think is home base. That can be another thing. Usually the first chord and the last chord can be a hint. Now this song is tricky because it doesn't start on the 1 chord. That's a 1 chord sound. It's home base. But it starts on a 2. So it can actually trick you. You're listening, you're thinking that could be home, but it's not home. You're like, away from home, yeah. But now I'm at home. So sometimes it requires the ability to determine out of a bunch of chords which one sounds like it's at home, okay? I'm out at the mall. Okay, kids, get in the car. We're about to go home. Okay, we're at home. Ooh, I forgot to pick up some butter from the stove. We got to go back out. That's the idea, and you need to be good at that. That's the whole idea behind this rapid tonic identification. There's a number of things inside of that, obviously determining the key, modulation, tonicization, neighboring tones, all that relative minor, but you don't have to worry about that right now. Like I said, let's go at this simple. That's the first part. Get good at finding the key. So listen to this song while I hold down the key, or what I think, should be the key. So that's the key. You hear that? And that was the home base chord. I just found it, right? Okay? Now, some people may be tempted to hit D just because that was the first chord. But, you'll find that as you keep playing the progression, that D's not going to sound good on everything. It's not going to give you home base feel. Some people may be tempted to hit G. And that's understandable because G is the 5th tone, and when you understand deeper into how chords work, you have what we call primary chords, and the 5th tone is a part of that group. You have the 1st tone, the 4th tone, and the 5th tone. Those are the most important chords, hands down. So the 5th tone is a part of that. So it's understandable. It has a very, very close relationship. But what you want to do when you think you've gotten the right tone, this is what I used to teach people, you think you've gotten the right key, go down a 5th. Go down a 5th. So figure out, what key you're pressing and in what scale, what would it be the 5th tone in? So if I was pressing down G and I thought G was the right answer, I'm going to kind of test against it by saying, okay, well, in what scale is G the fifth tone? Because I don't want to accidentally be pressing the fifth tone, you know. So then I say, the key is C. So let me match that tone and see if that gets me closer, since the fifth tone is oftentimes mistaken for the tonic, okay? So yeah, it's understandable, but as long as you're in the ballpark, as long as you're not pressing something like B flat or G flat, I mean, even if you get close, you get it down to 3, now you can do multiple choice. So that's all under what we call RTI. And then, you know, if I were doing this on my own, I'd figure out the melody. Now he's going, lost without you, can't help myself, you know. It's a love song, y'all. I know y'all like, ooh, Jermaine teaching a love song. Come on, y'all. I'm married. I like love songs. I like to think, you know, while I'm in the car, I like to say lost without you. You know, you should be able to, you know. Y'all got me thinking about love now. But anyway, that's the idea. What was I even saying? What was I saying? I started talking about love. I forgot what I was saying. I was talking about, melody determination. So he goes, so it basically goes, and I'll let you see my piano here. It goes A, G, E, D. She says, lost without you, can't help myself. But, and then you figure out that melody, you know, how, you know, that's the melody. It's very easy to know that I'm with you, you know. But look at where the melody ends, because that's where the chord starts. And the chord starts there. Now that'll give you a good hint, because wasn't our chord a D minor? Now that you look back in retrospect, you realize that was a D minor. So had you figure out the melody after finding the key, then this melody note could give you a hint. I mean, if it's not a D minor, or, you know, what other chord could it be? Well, a G major, you know. It could be, you know, it could be a C major chord with D on top, you know, like a major 9 chord. But for now, you know it's a minor chord, because we're kind of doing this in retrospect. But just understand that the melody can help you as well. Because if you harmonize that melody, it would have got you close. You know, it's not, but it's, and at least now, because there's another step where we take it further, you know. So you figure out the melody. And then, let's go to my computer. The melody, after you're done with that, you're ready for what I call BPR. That's basic pattern recognition. So that's when you try to figure out what's really going on in this song. And once you do that, it breaks into, you know, 3 different parts. But this song applies to circular patterns. And if you think about it, didn't it feel like a circle? We were going up, down, like kind of like a circle does. You go up to the left, then you go down to the right, and then you go back up. Well, progressions operate in that way as well. And we got something that we call a circle of fifths. In a circle of fifths, it's basically a way to plot out how music works. You know, somebody came up with this brilliant concept, and they say, you know, a lot of things move in fourths. You can relate key signatures in fourths. You can relate major keys and signatures to each other through fourths. And progressions also move in fourths. So if you look at this chart, can you find the 4 chords that we're playing? Can you find the 4 chords that we're playing? Well, we started at D. What was the next chord? Wasn't it a G7? Remember? And then we had our home base, the key that we were actually determined we're in. So it tricked us. It started, you know, the song started at the mall. Then it got on the freeway to come home, and then it came home. But then, you know, we left the butter at the store, so we end up staying here. And then, you know, and basically from there, we just started all over. So understanding these patterns before you get started is important, because then you can cheat. You know, once the melody kind of told you D, and then you start listening to the song, here's a good tip. Whenever the song just sounds too good to be true, like, here's a good way to know, you know, that the song is circular. Circular songs are too good to be true, because you can cheat. You just go to this circle, and they're usually in line with the circle. So here's how to know when a song sounds too good, when it sounds predictable, okay? Not all songs are predictable. Some take you on a run. But if you can remember the song easily, and you don't feel like you have to be a musician to know what's supposed to happen next, I mean, listen to it. I mean, if I wasn't a musician, I'd kind of know what to listen for. I need to go home. Okay, I'm headed home. Like, not even as a musician, I know what's going on there, see? And whenever you get that feeling, playing by ear, a lot of it is intuitive, right? So whenever you get that feeling that these chords just sound too predictable, like this, Those are predictable because you know that, Mary had a little lamb, her fleece was white as snow, or, it's predictable, right? So whenever you got predictableness, look to the circle. That's the biggest tip I can give you here. Now, obviously, all this stuff I can talk about hours for, but I've already gone over my time limit, so let me keep it going. Okay, then once you figure out, and here's the circle big, but once you figure out the basic pattern, then you apply the right chords. And a lot of this has to do with knowing the theory, because certain tones of the scale lend themselves to certain chords automatically. So if you have that theory knowledge base, I didn't mention that, but that's kind of like the overall thing you just want to have. A lot of these are active. You do this, you do this, you do this, but you just have this, right? And all this stuff depends on that. It could be the foundation, if you will. I could flip this. Okay, so that's when you use certain chords. Remember when I said, here, that's when you figure out what's the best chord to use. You may say, well, no, that doesn't sound like it. What if I move this, up here? That's when you start using inversions and different voicings. In this section, another thing I would do here in chord development, and you see it here, you see me using theory knowledge base, it has a direct connection to chord deployment. And here's where this breaks into three things that, I will just talk about voicing determination right now, because this is when you get it closer. Pick the voicing that works. So remember here when I told you it was just C and F? Well, what if in this step, now that I've gotten past everything else and I know how to play the song, what if I double up on my F? So I play it like this, F, C, F. Okay, and then I play D on my bass. That's when I'd figure out little things like this, because now it sounds a little better. And then I just lower my B, but I don't change my F. I just do whatever I'm doing way up here, I do it down here. And then when it's time to change, because remember at one point, this changes, so I'm gonna do that down here. And then when it's time to change again, keep my E's the same, change this B to A. So that's when you get into that, So all of this is under chord deployment. And it gets a little bit into the next one right here, which I call style and personalization. This is when you can add little things there. When you're doing, you can add bigger chords, So maybe the first time you could do it real simple. Maybe the second time you can do a bigger chord. And then you do all that in style, You do that all in style. So this is style and personalization, fill-ins, chords, the nuances, all that stuff you get in our more advanced courses. And then finally, we call this last section ability and freedom. And really what that means is not to be confined to the key that you're learning the song in. You want to learn what's going on in that song so you can move it to new keys. So let's go to the piano. So what I like, there's several ways to transpose a song, but the idea is just look at the whole picture. Okay, you're in the key of C. Your bass is starting on the 2, it's moving to the 5, then it's going to home bass, the 1, and then to the 4. So first of all, if you know your major scales, and that has to do with the theory knowledge base, you should know those numbers, because you'll know every scale and you'll know them as numbers. You'll know the second tone of whatever. And then if you look on the right hand, this minor chord that I'm playing, just think of it, and here's the D, but just think of it as the 7th of the chord on the bottom, because, in this minor chord, there's the root, there's the 3rd of the chord, there's the 5th, and there's the flat 7. So just think of this chord as the 7th on the bottom and just a 4th up from the 7. So the 7 and the 3rd, that's all I'm using from the chord. The 7th interval and the 3rd interval. I'm leaving this one out and I'm playing this on my bass. So, and then once you got that, it's easy. In your head, just say, okay, lower my left finger once, move my bass. On the next one, lower my right finger half step, move my bass. And then on the last one, go to my left. Instead of moving it like half step, just move it a whole step. So I can take that to any key I want. I mean, how would that sound in the key of F? Well, go to your second tone. Your second tone is G in the key of F. What is the seventh tone of of G in the chord? In the minor chord? It's F, so play that on the bottom. So it looks like that. So there it is in the key of F. I mean, how would this look in the key of D flat? Same thing. Go to E flat, the second tone of the bass, and then set up your two notes over here. So all of that is under mobility and freedom. So I've already gone much longer than I wanted to do. That is Lost Without You, but more importantly, it's that 7-pillar process, if you will. A lot of it takes only 1 minute. Imagine in my head, I execute all those things within a minute when I'm learning a song like this. Within a couple of seconds, I figure out the key, that's over. 3 seconds, 5 seconds when you get good at it. You figure out the melody, usually, trial and error, but you'll get that within a couple of seconds. You figure out the pattern. Once you've played enough of these, it's obvious. And then you figure out the chords, each specific chord. You personalize them, put some style with it, and then you do the end. You transpose it, so you build that mobility, you move. You don't keep it in one place. Learn it in all 12 keys. That'll definitely do your playing well. And then you kind of, that's the 7 steps. You do that with all your songs and you cannot fail. So, like I said, I just wanted to help you guys out. I think this will be very beneficial. Start it over, rewind it if you want to, but this is a process. I don't expect you all to get it overnight, but this is kind of how I learned certain. So I wanted to use that as a simple example. Now, a little bit about the launch, okay? I know you guys are dying to know what it is, and I want to tell you, and I will tell you, but I want you to keep guessing. Yeah, I want you to. I know you probably think I'm holding you in suspense, and I am. I am for a little bit longer, but I want you guys to guess what you think I'm up to, okay? Like I said, there's 2 parts to it. One of them is a little more straightforward. The other one's a little intricate. You put them together, and it's something we've never done before. And I'm gonna actually put a clue up on the screen, and I want you guys to guess what you think they are. Just descramble these 2 words, and it'll give you 2 hints as to what we're working on. And then post on the blog. Post your reply on the blog, what you think it is. Let's just have fun for a little bit. My next video, I'm definitely gonna let the cows bag up everything. But for now, I wanna hear from you on the blog, what you thought about this, what you think we're up to. Some of our good crossword puzzle descramblers figured this out, and then try to figure out what you think we're up to here. But thank you for watching. Remember, if you can hear it, you can play it.